Welcome back to the Listen Nissim show. I'm your host Nissim. Thanks for watching. Today we're with an old friend, actually from 2012, I think, or 2012. Yosef Binyomin ben Kochava. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to hear his inspiring story. He's going to mefarnes a nes that he went through. He's going to publicize a miracle that he went through. So maybe let's just start from high school, just to catch our connection to each other.
Okay.
I did TJJ, NCSY's summer trip, which is a highly recommended trip to Israel. And the next year I did the one to Poland and then to Israel, the Jerusalem journey. How did you end up on TJJ?
Honestly, I got connected through a friend, and he told me that he's going on this trip. So he said, maybe you should join. I looked it up, saw what was included in the trip. I said, yeah, of course. Sounds awesome. I'll join, and I went along with my brother.
That's right. I remember
very fun trip.
The memory we had going cherry picking, I think, and it was a very red day. And just tell us a little bit about your Jewish background, your grandparents too.
My grandparents, my great-grandparents from way back, they're all from descendants from Yemen. They lived in Yemen since as far back as I can go, and they came to America when there was, in the 1800s, there was aliyah from Yemen. There was migration from Yemen, and there was a very small amount of families that went from Yemen to America. And my family, my ancestors, they were the third family that went from Yemen directly to America, as opposed to coming from Yemen to Israel. And it's basically how much I know about my background, but I know it's basically all Yemenite background. Some marriage from my great-grandmother from Spain, for the Spanish Inquisition. She was married to my great-grandfather, but all of them from before that, they were all from Yemen.
And then after high school, where'd you end up going?
After high school, I got involved with a rabbi from Safra Shul in Aventura in Miami, Florida, and I went to a class over there, and I felt very connected to the Torah through that class, and that was something that I felt like I wanted to pursue. So I asked my only friend that I knew that was in the yeshiva world, and I asked him, like, what can I do in order to pursue the Torah, to be able to learn Torah. He said, well, I think the best place for you would probably be Or Sameach in Jerusalem. So I said, I have no idea what Or Sameach is. Okay, I'll look it up. I looked it up on Google. I saw all the information that I needed to know. And I got in contact with one of the rabbis in Derech. And he told me, yeah, come, we'll interview you, and you can join. You can join with the yeshiva if we accept the interview. And that's what ended up happening. I came when I was 16 after high school. I finished high school a little bit earlier than others because I did it online. And I was in Derech for 3 years. And then I went to an Israeli yeshiva in Mea Shearim, a big move. And I was there for 9 months. I learned a lot of different trades, shchita, safrut, meaning slaughtering, and a scribe, like a Jewish scribe. I learned those 2 trades over there, and then I met my wife. We got married, and we went to after we got married, we lived in a Moshav Matityahu, which is near Modi'in Illit, Modi'in, the center of Israel. We were there for 9 months, and after that experience in the Moshav Matityahu, my wife told me, listen, I think we should move back to Jerusalem. Maybe you'll find a kollel. Maybe you'll even join Or Sameach, the yeshiva that you were in, like, originally, and you can learn over there. You have friends, you have a community. So that's what I did. I came to Or Sameach. I joined the Beit Midrash program, and I was there for around a month until the whole incident happened, medical incident.
Before we get to that, while I just check if I could put Do Not Disturb on, can you tell us about your almost Mexico experience?
Yes. So as you were saying, as I explained to Nissim previously, that there was an incident where after my 3 years when I was in Orsamelech, I went back to my hometown, to Miami, and I was planning on staying there and working and starting my life as like a worker, working, making money, and then I figured this is not for me. I have such a strong connection to learn Torah and to be connected to Hashem and to Judaism that I wanna go back to learn. So they ended up supporting me to go back to Israel and learn, and that's where I came to the yeshiva in Mea Shearim, and that's how I eventually met my wife and continued living in Israel.
The first trace of any medical incident was before.
Oh yeah, that was an incidental fighting when I was 7 years old. Basically, I come from a very short family. We're not the tallest people. So my mother, she wanted something that could help me grow. So there's these things called growth hormone shots, right? They inject into your hormones that cause you to grow taller. In order to get an acceptance to receive these hormones, you have to go through checkings, and you have to go through MRIs, CAT scans, and so we went to an MRI to see if I can get approved for these hormones. And when they did the MRI, the doctor told my mom, "Listen, we're doing the checking for the hormones, to be accepted for the growth hormones, and we found something in your son's brain that is not really normal. You need to address it immediately." So that's how they found a brain AVM, which is a abnormal venous malformation. It's basically where the veins become malformed, and that was in my brain. And my mom addressed it, and the doctors told us that it's not such a big concern, but it is a concern because it could burst, and it can cause either death, paralyzation, or being a vegetable for the rest of their life. So my mother, she right away she found the best doctors in America, and she asked them, what should we do? And the doctor told my mother, "Listen, I deal with these situations like all the time, but your son's AVM is very complex, so I can't really treat you, but I can do the best that I can. Up until there, you have to go to more of an expert than I am." So he did whatever he could through a gamma knife surgery. I'm not even really sure what that is, but I was very little at that time, and I went through a couple surgeries, through gamma knife surgery in Miami, and then after a couple surgeries, the doctor said he doesn't want to touch me. He's too scared to make any mistakes. I must go to an expert, a greater expert in the field. And then he referred us to a doctor in New York, Dr. Berenstein, who is an expert in the field of AVMs. And he saw my situation. He told my mother that it's a very, very complex, big AVM that he could treat, and he tried to treat it, but he said he's not 100% sure if he can succeed in completing the treatment all the way, because it might be too dangerous. And he did whatever he could. After maybe 2 or 3 surgeries, he told my mother he doesn't want to go any further, and it's better off that I just live my life, and there's a chance that it could burst, but there's also a chance that if he continues with the surgeries that it can cause more damage. So he said, just live your life the way that you want, everything normally, but you know that there could be a situation that it could burst. And basically that's what happened when I turned 20, 22 years old, and a year after my wedding, after I got married.
Was it Kotel?
Yeah, but
So what happened there?
what happened there? I went to. This was already by the time I was in Or Sameach. I came back from Moshav Matityahu after being there for 9 months in a kollel. I came back to learn in Or Sameach. I've been in Or Sameach for a month. My wife was in the 9th month of pregnancy, and one day I get a phone call from my cousins that they came to Israel, and they're going to the Kotel. They want to see me. So I said, yeah, for sure, I'm going to come visit you after the Kotel. I'm going to come to the Kotel. I'll come visit you guys, say hello. And I went there with my bike. As I'm returning to home from the Kotel with my bike, I go through Shar Yafo and I just start feeling very, very strong headache and I guess dehydration, and I just collapsed in Shar Yafo, like right where the gate is to get into Shar Yafo. I just collapsed right there, and my cousin was with me because we were riding back to get to the train. He was with me, and he said, listen, you don't look good. Let me call your wife. So he called my wife. He told my wife, Yosef is not looking good, and he might need an ambulance. What should I do? So she said, take him to the emergency room, like with the taxi, go as quick as possible. And that's what we did. We went to the emergency room. As I got into the emergency room, I just started throwing up blood, like a bunch of, crazy amount of blood. And the nurse saw me. She said, you have to go immediately to do an X-ray an MRI on your brain to see that everything's okay. So they took me in right away. I get to the MRI. They took the scan of my brain, and they said you have to go to surgery, immediately, emergency surgery. I didn't really know what was going on, and I said, okay, I have to ask my mother first, because she knows all my medical situation, all my medical history. So I called my mom. She says, of course you have to do it, but they need to know these specific details. My mom, the same day she got on a plane to Israel, and by the time she was on the plane, I was already in surgery, not knowing what was going on. And I wake up maybe the next day, 2 days later, and my mom is there. And they told me that I was bleeding I had like a bleed from my brain, the AVN erupted. And they did surgery to take out all the blood, to draw all the blood from my brain. And they inserted a drainage system over here, which has like a vessel that draws in all the blood. And it goes through a tube through my stomach, and there was a bag that was coming out of my stomach filled with blood that was draining from my brain. And I was basically, after they did that whole operation, I was paralyzed in my whole left side of my body was paralyzed. I don't think I was even able to talk. And I had like tubes coming out of my mouth, out of my, a bunch of things. I can't even explain it. It was a very, very rough situation. I was between life and death for probably 2 months in a coma, an induced coma. So I was asleep. I didn't really know anything that was going on around me. Everything was basically black. And I woke up after 2 months, not even knowing that I was in a coma. And everybody was just like in shock when they saw me get up because the doctors told my parents that I'm probably gonna, it's probably gonna be a life and death situation. So they already got like all the paperwork ready for a need, if anything occurs. And they didn't expect me to wake up after 2 months, and I did. Baruch Hashem. It was a very, very real miracle that happened. And it says in the Gemara that ein balanes makir beniso, that a person that has a miracle done for him, he doesn't even recognize that the miracle was done for him. So I told Nissim that anything that can publicize the miracle that happened, I'm there, and that's why I'm here to share with everybody.
Mention what you remember from the coma. One memory you had.
Yeah, there's only one or two things that I remember when I was actually in the induced coma. I remember everything was black, and I'm laying down, everything is black, and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs because I hear two people talking to somebody that's in the room. I guess it was their father, because I was in a shared room with other patients, and a son and a daughter came into the room, and they were talking to their father, and I heard their whole conversation, and I was just screaming at the top of my lungs, like saying like, where's my family? And nobody could hear me, and I don't think I was even screaming like in actuality, just I don't know what it was, but that's the only thing that I remember.
And tell us about the campaigns that were going on the outside.
So there were a lot of GoFundMe pages for me that were asking for help for medical payments, because there were a lot of medical things that occurred, that came up, different infections from the hospital itself, and also I had a collapsed lung in the middle of all this, middle of the whole situation. There's different things also for physical rehabilitation, and there was a lot of people that supported the campaign, and there was a lot of prayers that went out because of the campaign. And yeah, my uncle actually went to Rav Chaim Kanievsky, Alav Shalom, 2 times. First time he went to him, he asked him for a bracha. The Rabbi Chaim looked at him and he told him, tefillahs, like only to pray. Right? So there was a lot of prayers, like everywhere throughout the whole world there was a massive amount of prayers. Right? Even till today I get people coming up to me, oh, we pray for you, Yosef Binyomin ben Kochava. We pray to you for you until today, 3 times a day. I get people from friends from Miami that tell me that they were in a city far away from where they live, and during Shabbat the Gabbai was saying Misha Berach. He wanted to give out Aliyah for the Torah, and when he gave out the Aliyah for the Torah, the one of the guys went up to do the Aliyah. After the Aliyah, he went to do a Misha Berach for a Chole. So my friend actually wanted to say Yosef Binyomin ben Kochava, and somebody else from the Kal, he actually said Refuah Shlema for Yosef Binyomin Kochava. So it was just like everywhere in the world they were davening for me. Also in Tahiti, my mom, she told me that there was people in Tahiti that told her that they were davening for me over there, from all over. So it was really inspiring.
And who told you that there was a man who came in to read the book of Tehillim standing up?
Yeah. So there was my wife in this whole situation. She was always by my side in the hospital, and she told me that there was a lot of people coming in and out while I was in a coma. And she said that there was one person that came in. Told me like a very God-fearing individual came in with a beard, and he just sat by my bed, just reading Sefer Tehillim, like the whole Sefer Tehillim, He finished it. He was sitting there for a long time, reading just Tehillim. He didn't say one word. He just sat there, read the Tehillim, got up and left.
And was there a point with Dr. Führer?
Sure, yeah. So Dr. Führer, my mom got in touch with him, and she asked him, like, according to the situation, what should we do for my son? So he told my mom that there's a doctor in Germany, that he's a professional for AVMs, and he gets a lot of referrals from Israel, Dr. Shapal. So he told my mother that this is the referral that he's giving her to go to Dr. Shapal, and hopefully he could help with the whole situation, to treat the AVM if it's possible. And my mom took the initiative, and she went straight away to contact Dr. Shapal. She contacted him, and I've been getting treated by him. Around 3-4 years ago, I was getting treated by him for a full year. I got 6 treatments in an interim of 2 months every treatment, and he told us that the treatments that he gave was 100% successful, Baruch Hashem, meaning that the whole AVM was treated and there's no concern for it anymore. But he told me that I have to come back to get a checkup to see that everything is 100% treated. And until that checkup is done, there can't be a 100% confirmation that everything is in the past already. And that checkup I haven't been able to get to, because right when I finished the last treatment, the corona hit, and we weren't able to fly. So I'm still waiting for an appointment until now.
So you guys watching could have in mind, be meshutaf, take part. Say that whatever you pray for others, Hashem is more masugal to deliver for you. Have in mind a refuah shlema for our dear friend Yosef Binyomin ben Kochava, and for Klal Yisrael, everyone who needs a refuah in these days, and the Yeshua. May we experience the Geula revealed soon.
Amen.
Thanks so much for sharing your
Thank
story.
you for having me.
Hashem should bless you.
Amen. You too.
And it wouldn't be shaykh if I released the Bedouin slave child clip. I'll leave
I
that
don't know.
on. All right, thanks so much for watching.
Thank you. Thank you
Until
for having
next
me.
time.